So yeah, anybody can be an entrepreneur. I strongly believe all of us have got the power and imagination to build something new for this society, for the world, and we should definitely give it a shot once in the lifetime, if not more. And it's very, very rewarding. It's the toughest thing to do because you're coming out of your comfort zone. You're not relying on somebody giving you a salary or so on and so forth. But once you get onto it, you'll feel nothing else is more rewarding than this.
And today my guest is Piyush Kumar. He's the founder and CEO of Router. Router is a game streaming and esports platform and has emerged as the largest player in the Indian gaming category. So he talks about how he got this off the ground. He talks about what your MVP should look like. Talks about hiring strategies and philosophies. Talks about the business model. Talks about finding his co-founder via Twitter. And talks about the esports landscape in India, including dealing with the parents. Talks about how to build a consumer app, gives great book recommendations, and finally he talks about why everyone should try entrepreneurship at least once in their life, and much, much more. So please enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello Piyush, thank you for coming on the show today.
Hey Neil, pleasure to be here. Great to be speaking with you. I've always been a fan.
Please tell the listeners what you're building.
Well, I'm the founder and the CEO of Router. It's a game streaming and esports streaming platform from India. We are the leading player in the market. If you were to think of it like Twitch for India, but basically being meant for a very, very large mobile gaming market.
And what was your desire to do this in the first place?
Well, interestingly, when we started Router back in 2016, it wasn't for gaming, it was for sports. But the core idea of the product and the platform was that we wanted to build a tech platform that will bring people together, build communities, and help them monetize. So we tried it first in sports, and then we saw gaming growing very, very fast in India. And that's when we said that we should take a pivot. There is a need for a Twitch for India. There is a need for people to consume gaming content, and which better platform than Router. So this is how gaming happened.
Okay, cool. So you started in 2016. How are things going now? Can you share some stats, in terms of downloads, active users?
Yeah, it's going great. We are the leading player in the market. We are close to 50 million downloads, but at 15 million monthly active users. So 50 million overall downloads, but 15 million people are coming to the app daily. About 15 million are coming monthly, 1.3 million are coming daily. They're spending over half a hour on the platform. We are also monetizing quite well, so only platform in the space to monetize. We are the number one player, as I said, in the category. On Google Play Store, we are doing fairly well. Number one app on the sports category for over 2 years now, consistently amongst the top 50 apps in the country. So yeah, it's been a great ride. Very privileged to be here, and I thank all the investors, all the gamers, everybody who is a part of our journey.
How do you feel about those figures then?
Well, it's very interesting. So we are fundamentally a tech company, a tech content company. So we used the first 1.5 years when we were in gaming to build a very, very robust product. And it's only from the beginning of this year that we started to invest in growth, started to see a very, very good traction. So feel quite confident. I mean, India, just to put some numbers in perspective, India currently is almost a 450 million gamers market, which is stated to grow to 600 million in a couple of years. And a sizable population of that plays battle royale games, which are basically the mid-core to hardcore games. And about 100 million people currently are viewing gaming content, which is our addressable market. So our target is to be at 25 million monthly active users by end of this year and by 40 million by mid of next year. When we are at 40 million, we'll be nearly 40%, 50% of the market. So very, very exciting times for all of us here. And we can't just wait to make it even bigger.
Is that what you expected when you started this?
Well, not to be honest, no. I when we started and when we got into gaming about 2 years back, right at the onset of pandemic, we didn't realize that it will be that big a market. There were very strong signals of gaming becoming big in India. But today, when we look back, we feel so good about the fact that we took a decision to get into gaming, because today in India, if you go and see any household, whether it is in tier 1, 2 or 3 city, everybody has a gamer in their house, right? And that is what is really driving this industry. And we very strongly believe in multiple things that we have heard globally, people saying that the future of social network is gaming. So people are going to meet more playing games or watching games than doing anything else. So yeah, we didn't expect, to be honest, but at this stage we are very, very excited for what lies ahead.
Yeah, I just want to go back to 2016 before we get to the esports side of things. What kind of research did you do back in 2016?
So basically, by when we were, so I've been working on this idea for over 8-9 years now. So I'm one of the very I adapted to social media very early in my life.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer of meeting new people through social media, whether it is platform like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, name any one of them. So I really love it. And when I started to sort of observe people around me, I realized that there are multiple things that connect people and make smaller groups. Sports was a very, very strong part of it. I personally believe that after smoking, the first thing that connects people with each other is their interest in sports. When they start to discuss a football match or a cricket match or any other sort of a game, right? So our entire thesis was that we wanted to bring people together basis their sports or the people they follow. And it started to do very well from 2016. And then we continued doing it till 2020. But we realized that there was a far, far bigger market waiting for us where we could put all our learnings and execution into place. And that's what gaming is. So the world of gaming is quite beautiful. And the thesis remains same. There are many things in our life that bring different people, unknown people together, whether it is sports, gaming, or multiple things. And that's what Router does. We basically bring people together.
Yeah. To talk about that pivot moment then, was it hard to do initially? What was the discussion around that?
So pivot in a business is always a very, very difficult experience, and I would say difficult because you put in 3 to 4 years to build something that you have a very, very strong conviction on, and then as a business owner, as a founder, what you need to do is you need to also see things around and observe if there are bigger opportunities coming in. We were also facing a couple of issues with sports as a market, purely in terms of retention of users and their monetization. So we were looking for a new stream to sort of get into. And then we spent over a year to do multiple primary and secondary research with gamers. We also created a couple of MVPs to basically see how people will react. And then sometimes God has plans that you can't say no to. And for us, that entire incident was COVID. When COVID hit the world, we realized that people are not going to play sports. So sports matches and sports broadcasting will take a hit. And for us, the only way we could have used our time well and our technology well is to try gaming. And yeah, as soon as we tried, within the first 3 to 4 months, we started to get such strong signals that we started to believe that this is our destiny and the right thing to do as a business owner is to pivot to this business. So it wasn't very easy because you needed to convince all your investors, all your team members. But I think I was very privileged with me and my co-founder Dipesh that we were able to convert everybody to believe in it, and we started to show results, which is when everybody backed us. And today, when we look back, we realize that is perhaps the best thing we did as a group.
Yeah. Looking back, any mistakes that you made?
Well, I think a couple of things that I could have, kind of redone if I was to go back. First and foremost, I think we took maybe a year more trying sports. We could have probably pivoted to gaming maybe a year before. But then there is no right or wrong time to do it. I believe that 2020 was perhaps the right time to move. Second thing is I could have perhaps also, learned gaming a bit more as an entrepreneur. I'm majorly into gaming now, but back in 2020, I was still very, very early in my journey with gaming, particularly with Battle Royale games. So I believe that is something that I could have done. Besides this, I think we have been fundamentally a very, very strong unit as a team, and we believe that we have really done justice to what was offered to us. And no, it's been great.
Yeah, you mentioned MVPs. Just for our listeners, can you give our advice, any advice on building, launching, or what should go in your initial MVP, and then how do you track the results?
Absolutely. This is a very interesting point that you raised, and if I was to actually give any advice to any upcoming entrepreneur, this will be the one. So MVP, as most of you know, is minimum viable product. What it means is that once you come up with an idea. You are targeting an industry, you're targeting maybe 5 features, 10 features, which will be a part of your product. The best way to know whether your product or your idea will succeed or not is to basically pick the strongest of the feature or strongest of the insight of the product you're going to make, make a minimum level product, which means it can just be a website or something as simple as probably just going and talking to 10,000 people or making them use your product. Then every MVP has different metrics that you need to track. So before you launch your MVP, you need to have few metrics with you.
Yeah.
And once you see that those metrics are doing well for you, that is when you should decide to take the larger step of actually going and executing the idea. So MVP is a very, very important part of every entrepreneur's journey. And that is where the truth lies. That is where the truth of whether the market, whether the consumers need your product or not, can only and only be verified by MVP and not by any other way.
And in terms of the business model now, how are you making money out of this?
Well, we are first and foremost happy to tell you that we are the only product in our category which is monetizing, which is making revenue. So very, very excited for the opportunity. We believe revenue in this category and revenue in today's time when the world is undergoing a turmoil as far as, the overall economic environment is concerned. So revenue should be the priority of each and every company. If you can make money, you should make money. As far as Rooter is concerned, we basically divide our revenue into two parts. First is the revenue that we can make through brands, because Rooter has a very, very unique target audience, which is people between 10 to 25 years age group, which is about 80% of our very, very sought after audience, very good propensity to pay. They give a lot of time to the product, give a lot of time to gamers. And they also are a big influencer where they're within their family. So brand monetization is a big part of us. We are nearly making 80% to 85% of our revenue through brands, which is through advertising, which is simple advertising, video ads, display ads. Then we do influencer marketing where more than 3,500, 4,000 of professional streamers on our platform gets brand deals through us. So that's the other one. They're endorsing it. They're talking about it when they're streaming their games. And then a very interesting model we pioneered in our space, which is called performance marketing, where Rooter works with the top 75 apps in the country to help them get downloads. So it's a install, cost per install model. So these are the three, plus the fourth is sponsorship. So we also conduct multiple esports tournament, create multiple gaming IPs. So between advertising, performance marketing, influencer marketing, and sponsorships, Rooter is making a fairly large set of revenue. If you were to talk about a number, we are very close to hit 10 million ARR and 15 million ARR by mid of next year. Very, very large market. So we are very excited that I think this is a category that can be monetized well. Besides this, also make revenue through users. So we have something called Rooter Store on our app, where users can go and buy Rooter's currency, which is diamonds, to gift. We are also introducing all other gaming coupons over there. We are bringing in, a lot of merchandise for esports teams and creators who are on our platform. So a very, very healthy mix of brand and user revenue is what will really drive the monetization for Rooter.
So in the future, do you think esports will be bigger, similar to football? People go watch football.
Absolutely. Esports is really, really stated to be the next big thing in entertainment. This is the year when after a long time, multiple, tournament organizers like Sky and Nodwin, they conducted LAN events. So LAN events are basically physical events where a lot of viewers are also available and they can see. So it's really, really growing very fast. And I think very soon in India, you'll see a couple of tournaments getting executed in stadiums where you come and they'll watch their esports teams and players play and compete with each other. So it's really growing. I think in another 2 to 3 years in India, the kind of viewership esports will drive, which will be nothing less than pretty much all other sports other than cricket put together. And if there is a bigger threat to IPL in India, which is the biggest cricket tournament, it's actually esports has the potential to be as big as IPL is in India right now.
Can you see it being in Olympic Games, winning a gold medal for Call of Duty or something? I don't know.
Absolutely. So this is the first time when Commonwealth Games and Asian Games are going to have esports as a medal sport. There are 8 games which have been selected, which people will play, against each other. Countries will play against each other, and people can you imagine people can actually win medals for their country by playing games? How beautiful is this? So Asian Games and Commonwealth Games are already doing it right now, and Olympics, there's a very, very strong discussion. We are hearing very good things about French president, very confident about including esports in the Paris Olympics coming up in 2024. So it's a great time to be an esports athlete, to be an esports team. And for us as broadcasters, as people who are building this community, nothing bigger than this.
Yeah.
The more this category grows, the better it is for everybody.
So who are the top countries there when it comes to esports? Then, let's say we're playing for gold medal. Where's India in this category?
Yeah, so India is actually, I think this is the first time India is going to see a lot of representation. So a little early for us to say how well we'll do. Though I believe we did very well in the last Asian Games during the esports tournament over there. It wasn't a medal sport then, but India I think did fairly well. There are countries globally which have done very well. Korea, for example, is a very, very strong esports market. Lots of nations from West are doing fairly well. And then there are Southeast Asian countries. So I think between some Western countries and Southeast Asian countries, it's stated to be very, very well. So yeah, India has a very good chance. We have good players, but I think we need a bit more exposure to start doing very, very well in this.
But isn't the problem that kids spending too long on playing games? Obviously the parents will start worrying. Have you had any angry parents calling you out?
No, so it's interesting. Yeah, I mean there are two sides to the same thing. That there are a few parents who believe gaming is not good, but then I say this that 20 years back, particularly in India, if you were to ask a parent, can their kid go and play sports outside, they would say that what is the point of playing sports? A kid should study. So I think the way sports has grown on to now becoming a career in India, where parents are happy to put their kids into different sports so that they can become a big sportsman, is exactly what gaming is going through right now. Few parents do have reservations on their kids playing games, but very soon most of them are realizing that gaming is a proper career, and the kind of career and the kind of money that their kids can make and how they can become an icon and moreover go and represent India is pretty cool. So we have very, very interesting set of parents who are a part of different players who are on Router. Like there is a player called Vivon, who's basically a 7-year-old, right? His parents, I have huge respect for them. They are the one who's supporting him. And the kid is doing so well that he is a proper streamer. He's playing multiple games. He's now joined Godlike, which is India's biggest esports team. He's exclusive to Router, so he streams on Router. And just like 24 hours back, his team won a big esports tournament. So I think there are many inspirations here in India where people are starting to look at gaming as a career. I know that there are many colleges, there are many universities, and now many schools which are bringing in esports as a form of sports in their curriculum, and they're making esports teams within their schools and colleges. So I think give it a year, max 2, is when esports will not have any such problems of people thinking it is not good for anybody.
So you can see it being a respectable career. That's interesting. That what advice would you give to gamers want to be professional then? Obviously, start young, as it were. Probably.
Yeah. So gaming is a very, very young sport. If there is a sport, just like tennis, many other such sport which you can pick when you're 4 or 5 year old. I think gaming is something which is as once you pick early, it's better because your hand-eye coordination continues to improve. You're able to build your strategies over a period of time. So gaming one as a career is very, very exciting. Second is just like sports, there is no substitute to working hard, putting in more number of hours. So as people put more and more number of hours, their coordination and their mental stimulation becomes better. Third is there are multiple coaches which are available now. If you really want to pick gaming as a career, you can reach out to multiple people. And fourth is that there are many companies, including ours, which is Router. We are here to support upcoming gamers and esports players, and if we can be of any help, they should come in. But honestly, I think looking at gaming as a career, the best thing that kids can do at this stage is to really sort of pick it at the right age, because India is going to be a big gaming market, and the next couple of years will pretty much decide who are the real people benefiting out of it.
Yeah, cool. And talk about the team. How do you meet your co-founders, etc.?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. My co-founder is a guy called Dipesh. He's 13 years younger to me. One of the most interesting people I've met in my life. So the story goes that back in 2016, when I was starting the company, I wanted to, I was looking for somebody who could head our content, and that is when I put it on Twitter. Dipesh and many others replied to me on Twitter, and then Dipesh was somebody I found most interesting. He was still finishing his computer engineering from Jadavpur University, Kolkata. I went to couple of times. And yeah, we reached a stage where we decided to work with each other. So full credit to him to sort of, kind of have faith in Router, have faith in us. He joined us right after his college, and it's been 6 years that we have been building it together. So he's the one who looks after growth, product, community, and to a certain extent tech. Today, besides him, we have a very strong leadership team between, people like, Ayush, Ankit. Ankit is our head of engineering. Ayush is our head of sales. Ruchika, who is our head of HR. Akshay, who's head of community. And multiple other people who are fairly pushing us. So we are overall about 105 member team. Very, very on tech and product, because as I said, we are a tech company first.
I'm interested to know, what were your first impressions then of meeting your co-founder?
So very interestingly, he's, as I said, he's 13 years younger to me, right? So it was always a challenge to, for us to basically see how do we balance each other, because we were seeing things from two different perspectives. But what happened is that we have very complementary strengths, which really helped us sail through multiple, good and bad times in the last 6 years. I think I bring in a lot of experience, a lot of patience, a lot of network to sort of build Router and the core idea that I started with. But in terms of execution, Dipesh is very, very strong. He's been able to build a good team, execute it well. So yeah, it's a as I said, I think the fact that we are not childhood friends, the fact that we never studied together, the fact that we never worked together before Router helped us discover each other over the last 6 years. And today, where we stand, we believe both of us are sitting on a very, very golden opportunity to build a company that can be very, very large, have a very strong impact in the society, and can make good for our investors.
Yeah. What's been the best day so far at Router?
Yeah, so multiple days. I think from a best day perspective, one of the days is always when you see your team growing. So I think one of the days just a month back was when we crossed 100 team members. I think it was a very satisfying experience to see that more than 100 people decided to build their career with Router, and I'm thankful to all of them to have faith in us, our idea, and our execution. Second is, of course, the day when we crossed different landmarks on the product. So the day we crossed 5 million downloads, 10 million downloads. Very soon we are going to cross 50 million downloads. That is when you see a lot of satisfaction, because you see so many people trusting the product and sort of backing us. And then, of course, I think the time when you raise money, raising money is not just about capital. I think capital is something that comes for a different reason. But to get backing of such good investors from India and all across the world on backing our idea, people believing that we are the right set of people to execute this, is very, very rewarding. So yeah, I think there are multiple moments of pure happiness. But I would say that every time when a team member, when a user, when a creator, or when a esports team backs us, and then when an investor backs us, that is a moment I feel pure joy, because that is what gives you the energy to keep pushing the bar.
Yeah, talk about investing. We raised 25 million from Lightbox. Is that pressure on or pressure off now?
No, so I think so in total we have raised 30 million so far. We raised 5 million until 2021, and then in the end of 2021 we raised 25 million, led by Lightbox, March Gaming, Dwayne Park Ventures, Advantage, and multiple other funds. So yeah, it's been a great relationship with new investors who have come on board about 7 months back. The product has started to deliver very, very good numbers. We are up 83% on our revenue between Q1, Q2. We are up 53% on our user growth, or rather our monthly active users between the 2 quarters, and multiple other metrics which have done well. So I think it's been a great experience working with all new investors, and they work like co-founders. They are here for us, and yeah, I think we all are excited to see what lies ahead.
But would you say it's more pressure then, or is it less pressure?
No, I think from a pressure perspective, see, it's very simple. There is the pressure is always on everybody to sort of deliver, right? I think the pressure on investors is as much as the pressure on founder, because they also want the company to succeed, and they also can feel the heat. So no, there has not been a pressure. I think from as a group, as a board that Router has, it's a 7-member board. We are a very, very strong unit, and we have laid down our targets, we have laid down our execution strategies, and as long as you are executing the idea well, as long as you're taking care of multiple things in the business, there is not much pressure. I mean, from an economic environment perspective, yes, world is going to go through a very tough time in the next next couple of years. So it's very important to get capitalized, which is where Router is very, very ahead, very, very comfortable. And we believe that we'll continue to get the market backing. But no, I think no such pressure.
You mentioned the team. Do you have like a hiring philosophy? How do you go about evaluating people?
Well, there are multiple ways that we look at evaluating people. First and foremost, as I said, the team can be divided into two parts. Tech, very, very strongly believe that tech is the backbone of our company. And when I say tech, it's tech, product, everybody put together. So we definitely look at people who have very strong eagerness to build a product, because our product is a B2C product. It goes in the hand of consumers every day. So we definitely look at people who have done various projects, who have done good internships, who have built consumer-led products, which really helps. Second is their college. We are not very stuck on only the top colleges, but we believe that a good lineage sort of works well. On the community side, we definitely look at people who love gaming, because they are the one who are going to interact with streamers and esports team day in and day out. So we look at people who are gamers. Really helps because they can see the pulse of the business. But our basic hiring philosophy is very simple. We believe it's the attitude that counts more than what your skill or learning is. And somebody with a right attitude can up their skill, can learn things much faster, and that is where we put most focus on. And so it's basically the attitude and how much are they clear about what they want to do over the next 2 to 5 years. These are the two things that really help us decide on our future team members.
And talk about your background. You've got like a sort of, I assume, a corporate background. What was it like switching from a corporate background to a startup? To doing startup life then? Did you have to like relearn everything?
So my life has been very interesting that way. I actually studied computer science in my graduation, but ended up being in advertising, because advertising is something that I loved during that time. Right. So I spent 6-7 years in advertising, worked around different brands, ads, etc. Then I started to get interest in marketing, which is when I switched sites and worked with a couple of brands like which is Dish TV, which is a DTH brand, and then Swatch Group, which is globally the biggest watchmakers. So a corporate career was pretty good. I've been very privileged to work with some great mentors and had a good time over there. But somewhere I felt, every human has the ability to sort of do something or make something new. I always felt that my life and my work was very half done as far as I was in the corporate side. And with my passion for building and understanding the social products, building social graphs between different communities, I had to take the plunge. So I took a entrepreneurship risk or entrepreneurship plunge when I was 35, which is not very early, and I had a son that time. So from a perspective also, it wasn't the best time to do it. But then, as they say in sports, when you take a decision to play a shot or to do something, you need to back yourself. So it wasn't very difficult, to be honest, because I was very, very ambitious to do this. I always knew it's not going to be a very easy journey, but yeah, God has been kind. People around me have been kind, and I think it's been a good ride. Very, very, very strong learning experience, and I enjoyed both sides. I enjoyed my corporate career when work-life balance was good. I was able to travel the world, do multiple things. But today, when I look back at Router, it's perhaps the best thing that has happened.
Mm-hmm. Last few questions then. Advice for first-time founders. What should they be focusing on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first-time founders, my first and foremost advice would be, if you can work in a startup, even for a couple of months or 6 months, please do that. Because, if you have not worked in a startup and trying to be a founder or an entrepreneur, it will be slightly difficult because the pace is very difficult. Like for me, I came from a corporate career working with a multinational, a luxury company into startup. So it was a little difficult to adjust. So try and work with a startup, as I said, even for a small amount of time. Second is definitely learn the basics of entrepreneurship. Most importantly, how to build a company, what are the legalities, etc. And third is, when you're looking at product, as Neil rightly said at the beginning, your MVP is very, very important. Don't jump into entrepreneurship just because it is fancy or it is dreamy. Fact of the matter is that at the end of it, you'll have to make a product that people really need. And for that, doing as much research and doing as much preliminary work will really help you.
Any books or anything that's helped you want to recommend?
Well, there are multiple books that I have read through the journey. Whether it is 0 to 1, which is something that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But one of the books that I really liked, and the first book I read on entrepreneurship is a book called How to Build a $1 Billion App. It's by a writer called George Baconski. And it basically what the book did is, since I had not made any consumer product, never made an app, this actually lays down the various steps on how you should go about making a company which is based on an app. So it may not be relevant for B2B, but for B2C, this book is very relevant. Besides this, multiple books which I have read, I pretty much read all books on all the famous startups, right from something like the Airbnb story, or something like Never Lost Again, which is a book on Google Maps, so on and so forth. So I think, learning a lot of entrepreneurship books really helped me, because you could pick learnings from successful entrepreneurs on how they're built about their company. But fundamentally, just like sports, entrepreneurship is best experience while you are building it. No book can really substitute. So, and then of course, I think one of the best things that has happened over the last couple of years, or maybe over the last 3-4 years, is multiple podcasts which have come in where lots of entrepreneurs are speaking about their journey, and most of them are even discussing fundamentals. So spending time listening to them can be great.
You mentioned building consumer apps then. Any tips for our listeners then?
So I think from a consumer app perspective, there are 3 things which are very, very important. And these are learnings that I also took a lot of time to pick. First and foremost, the one great signal of a consumer app is how viral your product is. So if, for example, 5 people are downloading your app, and if they go on and tell another 5 that your app is good, that means your product has a need in the market and it can potentially do well. So virality of the product is important. Second is my favorite and most important metric, which is a metric called retention. So how many people who are downloading your app are there at the end of day 1, day 7, day 15, month 1, month 6, month 12. These are numbers that really drives on how big is your life cycle of the product. So retention is a very, very important metric, and the sooner you know about it and you're able to evaluate and stick to it is one. And third is, how will the product make money? Most of the B2C products or apps that I've seen, people start, but they don't even figure out how the company will make money. Like for me, I didn't know for a very long time how will this product make money, and that didn't help too much. But now that I know, I realize that if you can figure out monetization of a product much early in your journey, then it will be fantastic. So organic growth, which is virality, is one. Second is retention. Third is monetization. These are 3 very important part of consumer products.
Yes, interesting information there. Thanks for that. Has anyone helped you on your journey? Anyone you say, someone you like to say thank you?
It's a very, very long list. Very, very long.
Okay.
I think, but let me try and do justice to it. And if I miss somebody, my sincere apologies. No, I think lots of people in my life who have been entrepreneurs, who have inspired me. One of my very close friends called Kunal Kishore, he runs India's second largest PR agency. He's been a big inspiration. Then, of course, a very, very close friend called Dhruv Chitgopekar. He's the one who really helped me get started, helped me get my first funding, was one of the early investors, really backed me in early years, still does. Third is an Indian actor called Baman Irani, one of our first investors. He backed me when there was nobody else, kind of looking at it. And then there have been multiple people. My ex-bosses, Anjali Malhotra, one of my favorite people, Anjali Hegde, multiple investors like Intex. Lots of them. Then the Paytm team, now Sid, lots of people. So as I said, it's reached a stage where the list of people who have been behind Router are huge. But most importantly, my wife, she backed me. We were very, very early, and she believed that this is the best step for 2 of us to take. So yeah, she's been around. She's also a part of our team, and she's the one. So yeah, lots of people, as I said. It will take another podcast just to start talking about.
Cool. Do you think anyone can be an entrepreneur then?
Yeah, I think, entrepreneurship is something which people can really pick. I think I strongly believe anybody can be an entrepreneur. The only thing I like to add is that depending on your life and your journey so far, your entrepreneurship can depend on when you want to do it. Some people can be an entrepreneur when they're 16, 17. Some people when they're in their early 20s. I was an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur when I was 35. Multiple people are becoming entrepreneurs when they're 40 plus. So I think there are two things which are required. One is, what is your state of mind? What is your level of experience that you can apply to entrepreneurship, which is one. And second is, what stage of your life are you ready to take the risk? And that risk, sometimes people take very early in their journey, sometimes they take in the mid of the journey, and sometimes they take late. So yeah, anybody can be an entrepreneur. I strongly believe all of us have got the power and imagination to build something new for this society, for the world, and we should definitely give it a shot once in the lifetime, if not more. And it's very, very rewarding. It's the toughest thing to do because you're coming out of your comfort zone. You're not relying on somebody giving you a salary or so on and so forth. But once you get onto it, you'll feel nothing else is more rewarding than this.
Awesome stuff. Let's leave it on that. Last question for people who want more information on Router. What must they do?
Well, multiple ways. We have one of the most exciting, Android apps. So go on Google Play Store, download the app, play around with it. Let me know how you feel. You can reach me across Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, multiple other platforms. So our Android app, followed by our web platform, which is router.gg, our iOS app, which is still catching up with Android. So these are the three places. More besides this, I think talk to any of our team members. I've also been part of a lot of podcasts. So if you look at multiple podcasts I've been a part of since last 2-3 years, you will see how the journey has been in terms of my own learning, my own experience. But yeah, it's best experience. Just download the product. It can be in everybody's hand.
Awesome. Piyush, thank you for coming on the show today.
Neil, it's been an absolute pleasure. I loved each and every question that you asked. Almost made me go back to the journey, and it's been a privilege. Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed it, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Thanks to Piyush for coming on the show today. And for more information, you can download the app. That is the end of the show. Thank you for listening, and let's connect on Facebook.com/Indian Startup Show and Twitter @Indian Startup SH. Thank you and goodbye.